When she reached the castle, she was given fine clothes of silk and velvet to put on, and introduced to the rest of the court. Amazed at her beauty, everyone wanted to know where she came from. But she couldn't answer any of the questions they asked. The day of her arrival was a special day of feasting, and beautiful girls sang to the prince and the king. One sang more beautifully than the rest, and the prince clapped his hands and smiled sweetly at her when she had finished. This made the Little Mermaid very sad, for she knew that she once had had a far sweeter voice. She thought to herself, "If only the prince knew that to be with him, I have given my sweet voice away forever." But one thing that the Little Mermaid could now do was dance. On hearing the beautiful music, she lifted her hands and rose on the tips of her toes. She danced very gracefully, but every time she danced, she felt as if she had stepped on a knife. That night, when she retired to bed, she wept because all she could think of was her sisters, who were in the kingdom under the sea. The next night, the Little Mermaid was lying in her bed in the castle when she heard a sad murmuring sound coming from beneath her bedroom window. She rushed outside, and there were all her mermaid sisters sitting on a rock. "You have caused us much sorrow," her eldest sister told her. "Your father has become ill with grief since you left his kingdom and joined the human race. Why don't you come back home with us? The kingdom of the Mer King is where you belong." These harsh words made the Little Mermaid very sad indeed. She desperately wanted to tell her sisters that she loved the prince and had become a human for his sake, but the words just wouldn't come out. "Oh, how I wish I could tell my sisters that this is my only way of winning the love of a prince and gaining an immortal soul," she thought to herself. But her sisters grew angry with her silent manner and swam back down to their father's sea kingdom. Rumor soon spread around the palace that the king had chosen Princess Marina from the neighboring kingdom as a bride for the prince. The rumors upset the Little Mermaid. "Oh, if only the prince would remember that it was I who saved his life, then he would love me," she thought. One day the prince told the Little Mermaid, "I have to go on a special journey to see Princess Marina, who lives in the next kingdom. It's my parents' wish that I marry her, but they won't force me to bring her home as my bride. If I ever choose a bride, it shall be you, even though you cannot speak a word." So the prince set off to meet Princess Marina. As soon as he saw her, he recognized her face straight away. "You are the girl who saved my life on the island," he said joyfully. And so the wedding was arranged for the next day, and although Princess Marina was his first love, the prince still had a special place in his heart for the Little Mermaid, and she was the guest of honor. The Little Mermaid stood in the church holding the bride's train, but all her thoughts were on what she had lost in this world. That night, the bride and bridegroom went on board their ship to begin their honeymoon. The Little Mermaid accompanied them on their journey, but she grew so restless that she took a stroll on deck. As she looked out to sea, she saw her mermaid sisters swimming towards her once again. The eldest sister looked up and said, "We have given our hair to the sea witch so that you will not have to die tonight. Look, here is the knife that the witch has given to us. Before sunrise, you must plunge it into the prince's heart. When you have done this, your legs will turn into a fishtail and you will be a mermaid again. But hurry, after sunrise it will be too late, and you will die." Her hands shaking, the Little Mermaid took the knife and watched her sisters disappear beneath the waves. Then she returned to the cabin where the prince was sleeping with his new bride. But she knew that she could not harm him, so she threw the knife onto the floor and rushed back on deck. Once on deck, she dived into the still waters. She seemed to fly through the air, and she felt no pain as she touched the waves. She looked up at the sun and saw hundreds of lovely creatures hovering above her. Their voices were beautiful and melodic, and when she tried to speak, she found that she had a voice just like them. Suddenly, she felt herself being lifted up into the clouds. She could hear the soft, gentle voices whispering all around her. "Where am I?" she said, in a voice just like the others. "We are princesses of the sky," they answered. "Come with us, and you can earn an eternal soul by doing good deeds for all the world." The little mermaid looked down and saw that the prince and princess were searching for her, but by now she was invisible to them. This made her so sad that a little tear fell down her cheek. But as her fellow princesses were calling her, she floated with them through the air. And then they went on their way, spreading love and happiness throughout the world.